Materialists is now showing in cinemas, so here's my review of Materialists. After past lives, Celine Song has made a fan out of me, and with an all-star cast that includes Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, and Pedro Pascal in his second out of 3 outings this year, I was definitely excited for this one. In this movie, matchmaker Lucy, played by Dakota Johnson, finds herself unable to choose between 2 bachelors. In one corner, we have Harry, played by Pedro Pascal, a man of elegance who lives luxuriously. And in the other corner is Lucy's former lover, John, played by Chris Evans, a financially struggling actor who reconnects with Lucy. When it comes to romance movies, I'm a little harder to satisfy, because to me romance is a subplot, and for a movie to stretch a subplot to a full-length feature, I can't help but look for things that'll make me care beyond will they or won't they. So in every movie about romance, as I do with every other genre of film, I look for something that'll make me care about the stakes. The film needs to have stakes. Because let's be honest, in most of these you only have one of 2 endings. They either end up together or they don't. That's not to say I don't like romance. I like La La Land, Past Lives, and Titanic. So for a romance to really move me, they need to make me feel the stakes. And this movie does in fact make me feel its stakes. There's gravity in this movie. I always point to this other particular movie as the perfect example of getting me to care. The movie Air with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. It's not a romance movie, but it's about the origin of the Air Jordan. Now, I'm not a sneakerhead, so I'm not really into sneakers or shoes. It's probably the last thing I look at when I'm looking at a person's outfit. But against all odds, the movie Air made me care about this shoe. Because in just one scene, the movie is able to make you feel the weight of the situation they're in. This shoe has to work because people's jobs are at stake. They've got mouths to feed, people they need to provide for. And in that instant, I found myself rooting for the people in the movie and for this shoe to be a success. That to me is the perfect example of a movie getting me invested. And going into Materialists, I was looking for that same feeling. Because let's face it, woman choosing between Pedro Pascal or Chris Evans isn't gonna be enough for me. So I'm happy to report that this movie has a lot more to offer than just that. I like that this movie is told from the point of view of someone who's cynical towards the idea of romance. Dakota Johnson's Lucy sees love as a mathematical thing, something you can quantify and analyze. She sees these things as a science, and following her journey through this was really entertaining. Because her definition of love gets tested, and watching her redefine what love is was great. Now, as for the big question, Pedro Pascal's Harry or Chris Evans' John? I won't tell you who she chooses because obviously that would be a spoiler, but let's just say the internet is divided with who she ended up choosing. But here's my take, and I feel like I haven't seen a lot of people with the same take as me, but I think she doesn't deserve any of them. I think Lucy needs to work on herself first before she goes out there and get together with someone. I don't think she deserves both of them because she's a terrible person. And she's admitted to being a terrible person multiple times throughout the movie. Again, I'm not going to spoil anything, so I'm just going to mention things from the trailer. When Harry and Lucy head back to the penthouse to do the Devil's Tango, Lucy's not even concentrated on what they're doing. She's instead scouting the multi-million-dollar penthouse. When they wake up the next morning, the first thing she asks is, how much is the bed they're sleeping in? As for Chris Evans' John, he's too good for her. He's proven time and time again that he's willing to do anything for Lucy, but it's never reciprocated. He's Peter Parker from Spider-Man 2. MJ is out there going on dates with the rich, handsome guy, and poor Peter Parker here is pining over her in his cheap apartment. He's a really good guy, but this one-sided relationship is just sad, dude. I think Lucy getting together with either one of them is a recipe for disaster. If she were to end up with Harry, the both of them would be in a passionless relationship, forever trapped in a colorless mansion that doesn't and will never feel like home. He can take her all around the world, but she'll never be happy. And if she were to end up with John, I see a lot of arguing about finances in a rotting 2-bedroom apartment, and kids who are gonna grow up scarred by the constant fighting, and who will probably end up in relationships that are just as messy as their parents. I get that sometimes you meet a person and they're a bit of a fixer-upper, so the both of you could try to grow as people together. But in the case of Lucy, I think she needs to grow on her own first. Cause you can't be dragging people into your life if you yourself are a mess and constantly unsure of what they really want or need. I am curious as to what everybody else thinks, and I think that's the beauty of this movie. It generates conversation. A nitpick I feel I do have to mention is the messy way this movie wraps up. There were multiple points in the movie where I thought it should have ended already, but it just kept going and going. Maybe that's something you run into when you're the writer, director, and producer of the film. Celine Song has complete control in this one, and maybe from her perspective, it was harder to let some scenes go because she felt it was necessary. Overall though, I'd say I still had a really good time with this movie. It has great performances, great direction from Celine Song, and I think the best thing I can say about this movie is that it made me care. A little iffy about the ending, but would definitely still recommend giving Materialists a watch.